Today, we're digging into 4 big reasons your English goal sucks. And more importantly, how to fix it. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to reframe your goal with clear, actionable steps that actually get results. And here's the cool part these tips don't just work for English, you can apply them to any goal that you're trying to achieve. Welcome back to the Peach Teach English podcast. I'm Frankie Mesmer, your host, and this space is dedicated to helping you go from B1 intermediate to B2 English fluency. So if you're ready to set goals that actually work, let's get into it. Reason number 1 your English goal sucks. Because it's too vague. Let's be real. Goals like I want to be fluent or I want to sound more like a native speaker don't actually move the needle. Why? Because they're too vague. What do these goals even mean? When will you know you're fluent enough or sound native enough? You won't. And that's the issue. Vague goals make it hard to stay focused or track your progress. So eventually you lose motivation and give up. The best way to upgrade your goal is by answering the classic WH questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Now, we won't cover all 6, but starting with your why and what will give you a solid foundation and help you set a goal that actually sticks. So let's start with your why. Why are you learning English? You're not studying English just to chat with AI bots or scroll through grammar apps all day, right? You're working towards something bigger. So let's dig into that. Do you want to make genuine connections with native speakers? Do you want to study abroad to unlock better career opportunities? Would you like to run effective sales calls and lead meetings? Your why is what's going to keep you going when things get tough. It fuels your discipline and it helps you prioritize what to study and gives your goal long-term meaning. So once you've nailed down your why, let's move on to your what. What exactly do you want to accomplish in English? Saying I want to be fluent is too abstract. Let's get concrete. Try something like, I want to reach B2 level in English by the end of the year. I want to score a 6.5 on the IELTS to qualify for my university program. I want to land 3 new English-speaking clients for my business. Do you see the difference? These are specific and meaningful goals that you can look at and say, yes, I've reached my goal. They give you a clear direction, and that's what separates a wish from an actionable plan. So go ahead and hit pause if you need to. Take a moment to write down your why and your what. And then once you've got more specific, we'll take a look at the next reason your English goal sucks. So reason number 2, your English goal sucks is because you can't measure it. Take the classic line, I want to be fluent. All right, but how do you actually measure that? What does fluency look like for you? How will you know when you've reached it? This is where most learners get stuck. If your goal isn't trackable, it's nearly impossible to stay on track because there's no clear way to check your progress. So here's my advice. Make your goal measurable by using numbers. And there are 2 main ways to do that. Number 1, use a level, course, or score. Link your goal to something official like a test or proficiency scale. For example, I want to reach a B2 level on the Cepher scale. I want to score a 6.5 on the IELTS. I want to finish a C1 level course. These goals are quantifiable. You can take a test, get a score, and clearly see where you stand. Number 2 is you can track your consistency. Not every goal has to be about a test. You can also set goals based on your study habits. These are sometimes called process goals, and they keep you focused on daily actions. For example, I'll study English for 5 hours each week. I'll learn 10 new words every Monday. You either did it or you didn't. And that clarity makes it easier to stay accountable and avoid burnout. So before you keep chasing this abstract idea of fluency, ask yourself, what does fluency actually mean for me? And how will I know when I've made real progress? When you make your goals measurable, you take the guesswork out of your learning. And that's how you set yourself up to succeed. Reason number 3 your English goal sucks. You have no timeline, or that timeline is completely unrealistic. A lot of people tell me, I want to be fluent now, or in 3 months, for example. Okay, let's break that down. To move from B1 to B2, the average learner needs around 200 to 250 hours of focused study. To do that in 3 months, you need to study for about 3 hours a day. And you can't miss a day. Can you do that? If so, perhaps that's the right goal for you. If you can't, don't push yourself too hard. You will start to hate English. A more realistic goal is studying 5 to 10 hours per week, which means you're looking at 6 months to a full year to reach B2 fluency. That's not bad. It's actually a very achievable timeline. But you've got to pace yourself. A goal without a timeline is just a wish. And an unrealistic timeline, that's a fast track to frustration and burnout. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. How many hours per week can I realistically commit to English? What's sustainable for me? Not just for 1 week, but over the next 3 to 6 months. And be honest with yourself here. Maybe it's 5 hours, maybe it's 20. That's fine. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. But the learners who win are the ones who stick with it long enough to see the results. You don't need to cram. You don't need to study 4 hours a day. What you need is a clear, realistic timeline and a pace that helps you make steady, incremental progress. And most importantly, enjoy the process. If you hate your study plan, you won't follow through. So build one you can stick to and that makes you feel proud of your progress each week. Reason number 4, your English goal sucks. You're trying to do too much. Let me guess. You've got 5 apps on your phone, 3 grammar books, a playlist full of YouTube videos, and at least 2 courses you haven't finished. The problem isn't that these tools are bad. The problem is that your attention is completely scattered. When you're bouncing between different methods with no structure, it's almost impossible to stay consistent or see real progress. What you need is a focus system, one that aligns with your goal and actually moves you forward. So here's my advice. Sit down, map out a plan, and stick to it. You don't need to try every grammar book or app. You need a streamlined study plan that supports the results you're working towards. And that's why I created a free study guide to help you simplify your process and stop second-guessing your strategy. This guide walks you through what skills you need to develop, what vocabulary and grammar topics to study, and tips to help you build an effective study plan. And you can grab that free study guide using the link in the description. And if you're still feeling overwhelmed, just message me. I'll help you zone in on a system that makes sense for you and your goals so that you finally get the results that you're looking for. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on. So now that we've looked at 4 reasons your English goal sucks, let's look at some good examples of English goals. We're going to break down 3 examples using a simple set of questions. What's the goal? Why does it matter? How will you measure it? When do you want to reach it? And what's your plan? You can even use this exact structure to build your own goal too. Example number 1, social English. What's the goal? I want to speak English confidently and reach the B2 level. Why? Because I want to build friendships with native speakers and connect with people when I travel. How will you measure it? I'll take the Duolingo proficiency test. When? I want to achieve this in 6 months. What's your plan? I'll study 10 hours a week. I'll join 2 conversation classes, message language partners daily, and listen to podcasts or read books to build my vocabulary and fluency. Example number 2, academic English, studying abroad in Australia. What's the goal? I want to get a 6.5 on the IELTS exam. Why? So I can apply for a university program in Australia and expand my career options. How will you measure it? The actual IELTS exam. When? I want to reach my goal in 8 months. What's your plan? I'll study 7 hours a week, doing IELTS practice activities, 3 hours on listening and reading, and 4 hours on writing and speaking practice. And example number 3, business English, leading sales calls. What's the goal? I want to lead clear, confident sales calls in English. Why? Because I want to grow my business and build strong relationships with international clients. How will you measure it? I'll track how many calls I complete in English and how many new clients I get. When? I want to see clear progress in 2 months. And what's your plan? Each week, I'll write and rehearse one short pitch or presentation and get feedback from a business English coach, and set up at least 2 sales calls in English a month. These goals are specific, measurable, and aligned with real-life outcomes that matter to you. And that's the difference between a goal that fades into the background and a goal that leads to lasting change. So what's your English goal? I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments, share it with a friend, or message me directly. And don't forget to download your free study guide using the link in the description. It's designed to help you turn your goal into an action plan you can actually stick to. If this episode helped you reframe your goal and get clear on what to do next, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss any upcoming episodes that will help you stay consistent, motivated, and finally be fluent in English. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.